Time to pull up a chair. We've got another great story for you today in the rLounge. Today in the rLounge, when do you stop being the one who's expecting to give and start protecting what you've built for yourself? For years, it's been all about doing your part for the family, showing up when they need you, putting others first. But when do you say enough is enough? Let's get into that. Parents cut me off their will when I refused to divorce my wife. Now they're broke and begging for help. I cut off my parents decades ago for my own good. Rather, they disowned me for choosing the woman I love over their twisted belief. Background. I, 41 male, have been married to my wife, Merlin, 41 female, for 15 years. Life's good. I'm still madly in love with her, same way I was 15 years ago, maybe more. It has only grown over the years. She supported me in building this life that I'm so proud of. Most importantly, she gave me 3 amazing children, 9, 6, and 2. I'm so grateful for the life I have with her now. Everything would have been so different had I listened to my parents. They thought she was not the right girl for me. My parents hated her before they even met her. Not because she was a bad person or lacked education or career or something. No, because of her skin color. I still remember the day I told my mother about her. I showed her a picture. I was beaming with pride, anticipating some positivity. Instead of being excited, she recoiled. She looked at me in shock as if I was talking about aliens. I was so bloody hell confused about her reaction. Then she was like, "No, you can't be serious. You're joking, right?" I said, "No, I'm dang serious." The rest of the conversation was weird and frustrating. She asked me if Merlin had trapped me or if there was something I was hiding. I clarified she didn't scam me. I love her and that's it. I asked her why it was so unbelievable to her. At first she was hesitant, shrugging off, "You know what I mean." When I insisted on knowing, she snapped. "What's wrong with you? How could you be attracted to her?" I asked why not. She whispered, "She's so ugly." I lost my mind. I couldn't believe my mother had such low down and evil beliefs. I lashed out at her. She apologized that she didn't intend to hurt me. I said she was wicked and disrespectful towards the girl I love, and it was unacceptable. I told her Merlin was brilliant, kind, and beautiful inside and out, that I loved her caramel skin, her warm brown eyes, her entire existence. She dismissed it all, rolled her eyes and sighed, "Enjoy it, but don't bring her home." I was like, "Why not? What do you mean?" She didn't say anything, but her face said it all. Soon she started her campaign. In every family gathering, there would always be a single white woman present. Sometimes it was an old childhood friend, sometimes the daughter of a family friend. It was never subtle. She would openly praise these women in front of me, pointing out their beauty, their proper upbringing, their strong family values. She went as far as sharing my number, overly exaggerate about my job and salary and all good things about me. She projected me as the shy guy who couldn't approach women and insisted these girls initiate the talks. A couple of girls texted me saying they find my shyness and silence unattractive. I had to tell them the truth. Once, she tried to set me up with a childhood friend. She was our neighbor growing up. As we grew up, we lost touch. My mother somehow convinced her that we were a best fit and I was rocking in my career. The woman pretended to accidentally bump into me several times in a month. In the gym, grocery store, in the park. For the first 2 instances, I didn't notice, but when she said, "I think the universe is giving us a signal. Do you want to have dinner sometime?" That hit me. I told her the truth that I was dating someone else and my mom is doing all of this so that I get rid of Merlin. She lashed out at my mother and her family cut ties with my parents. Whenever I confronted my mother about all these, she played innocent. "I was just thinking about your future. You'll thank me one day." I pulled away from them, stopped visiting them, stopped answering their calls, but my mother wasn't done. She went on a full-blown campaign to split us, send me articles and stories where whites were victims of inter-race marriage, that we are trapped just for citizenship and money. If we accidentally met in any social gatherings, parties, weddings, funerals, she would dig at me that I could do better. She told everyone that Merlin manipulated me and that she was with me only for my money and status. I laughed at her allegation because, at that time, Merlin earned more than me, and I was barely able to make ends meet. And status? What's that for a 25-year-old guy? Yes, my parents were well off and had a social life, if that's what they called status. My father was no less. He joined my mother at her agenda, dug into Merlin's background, looking for anything they could use against her. They made up stories about her past, which hardly mattered to anyone. It crossed all limits when I took Merlin to my cousin's wedding. Mom tried to set me up with one of the bridesmaids. She went so far as to make sly comments. "Oh, you two would make such a great couple," right in front of Merlin. I was so triggered that I screamed at my mom to stay away from us. She breathed fire that I shouted at her in front of everyone and shot back, "I won't back off. I don't want mixed-race grandkids." She was so loud that almost everyone around us could hear it. Dang, so humiliating for us. I was flabbergasted. I pulled out my phone and blocked their contact right in front of them. I distanced myself from everyone. Not just them, but all the relatives and anyone linked to them. Merlin and I focused on building a future. When I got a high-paying, stable job, I proposed, and we secretly got married in a city hall. My parents remained silent after that incident, but when they got to know about our marriage, they lost it. My mom tried to rally the rest of the family to intervene, but they knew better than to get involved in her mess. She spread even more lies. Went around telling everyone that Merlin had baby-trapped me, scammed me, and was using me for a green card despite she was born and brought up in the U.S. I was pissed off at her lies and wanted an end to it. I went to their place to make the matter straight, that they should leave us alone and stop their hate campaign, but the conversation took an unexpected turn. Until now, it was my mother who was at the front, leading the agenda, so I decided to talk to Dad and request him to knock some sense into my mom. But now she was spreading hatred against her daughter-in-law. Without even listening to me completely, he jumped in to save her. Without hesitation, he demanded I divorce Merlin, else he would cut me off of his will. I was shocked at his words. Didn't expect this coming from him. I took him to be a sensible man, but he disappointed me big time. I used to think that he was indifferent to Mom's stupidity just to keep the peace at home, but now I realize that he too was actively involved in all of this. I replied to him firmly, "Sure, go ahead, but I'm not going to divorce my wife just to feed your hollow pride." He yelled he would change his will right away. I said cool and walked out. From their house, from their lives. A few weeks later, he couriered me the copy of the will where he had given everything to my younger brother. I laughed and flipped it away. Since then, Merlin and I have worked our butts off. I channeled all that anger into building something strong for us. We changed our house, cut off all contact with anyone who was an acquaintance of my parents, built our lives. It was difficult, pretty hard to stay away from everyone who was part of your life for 25 years. We waited 5 years to have kids until we were financially ready. And now we have 3 kids, a house, a comfortable life. We did it on our own. No inheritance, no family support, just us. And now, 15 years later, I got a call from my dad. I stared at my phone, completely thrown. I answered it, dreading the bad news. My father was there on the other side. He introduced himself as if it was some work call. I replied, "You don't have to introduce yourself. What's the reason for the call?" He said they wanted to visit us and asked for the address. I was like, "Why? Why the hell do you want it?" My father was still in character and said, "To meet the grandkids." I couldn't stop myself. I hit them with their own words. "Wait, what? My kids? You know my kids have color, remember? They might stain you." Silence. Then he stammered out half-hearted apologies. He was on speaker. I heard Mom whispering something. He mellowed it down and said they realized their mistakes, wanted to fix things. I said I don't want their apologies or fixing. I don't want them in my life, especially not around my kids. Mom took the phone and started sobbing. "We miss you. Why are you punishing us? Now that you have kids, you must understand how painful it is not to get to see your kids." I snapped, "Wow, you remember your kids 15 years later, is it?" Her reason was, "You changed home. Didn't even tell us. How are we supposed to find you?" I laughed. "You keep a tab on all my activities and you don't know my address? You're kidding me." She had no answer to this. She kept sobbing that she misses her son and wants him back before they die. She literally pleaded with me to forgive them. I hung up saying I don't buy their BS reason that they suddenly miss me and my kids. Since then, they have been reaching out relentlessly, asking for forgiveness and promising to be the best grandparents for my kids. I don't believe them at all, but over the last couple of weeks, my relatives have appeared again and have been rallying around asking me to forgive them and give them a chance to be better people. The other day, my uncle called me and said I was being too harsh on my parents, that they have realized their mistake and deserve a chance. He said it takes time and courage to come out of the conservative mindset and go against their belief system. Hence, I should forgive them for being so brave. What do you guys think? Do my parents deserve a chance? If they're truly sorry, the onus is on them to show it through consistent action and understanding. Right now, it sounds like they're still asking for a chance to make up for lost time without doing the necessary work to prove they've changed. You've got every right to protect your family from that kind of negativity. Update 1. Thanks for understanding me. I know some of you think I'm being too harsh by not giving them a chance since they are old and might be on the edge of, But does that give them a license to humiliate my wife without any fault? She's been nothing but loving and supportive all these years. No, I don't think so. Just because they gave birth to me and are old, I'll not let this pass. Despite all the pressure, I refused to meet them. But after a month, they showed up anyway, with my uncle in tow. I almost closed the door on them, but my uncle requested me to listen, said I owed them at least a conversation, that I should be the bigger person and hear them out. I don't want drama in front of my kids, so I let them in. But I didn't let Merlin or kids near them. She took them inside to their bedroom and remained there. Mom shed tears or two on getting a glimpse of the kids. She was all smiles, happy tears rolling. "Oh my God, they're so beautiful. The elder one just looks like you. Can I please hug them?" It was too fake, too polished. Like this whole act had been rehearsed. Dad started off with the same nonsense, how sorry they were, how they missed me and the kids. Mom pulled out some wrapped gifts for the grandkids. I didn't take them. I told them straight, if you're here to just clear your conscience, spare me. You had enough chances to mend your ways, but you chose not to. Uncle insisted I hear them out first. I was like, cool, go on. Then it came out. They weren't here for me or the kids. Not really. They were here because they were drowning and needed someone to throw them a life jacket. Turns out their golden boy, Alan, my younger brother, is in deep. He's always been their pride, their perfect son, the one who could do no wrong. He married a girl they approved, proper white girl, whose family has never been infiltrated. His kids are their pride. They've funded his life for years. They bailed him out again and again. He runs a business, sure, but the man is a walking liability. He's married twice, has 5 kids total, 3 from his first marriage. He lost custody of all of them, still has to pay support. Second wife lives separately now with 2 kids. She doesn't want to be near him because of his reckless crap. But guess what? He still has to provide child support. 5 mouths to feed, and Alan can barely support 1 family. My parents had to pitch in. Dad's been using a portion of his salary to help him scrape by. Apart from his monthly allowance, he was entitled to a regular handout, legal fee for his never-ending court battles with 2 wives. More often than not, his business needs more investment. Mortgage dues piled up. Children got sick and needed medical attention. A kid had a mandatory school trip. My parents always had his back. A year back, he came to them with a bright new scheme that promised a double return on their investment. And guess what? My parents bought it and blew off their safety net. They invested their whole retirement money on that business. He started some online merchandise, which he hyped up as the next big thing, promised them returns that sounded too good to be true. The current situation is that he has shut down his business and declared it bankrupt, and my parents' lifelong savings have gone down the drain. Their bank accounts are running dry. So now they come to me, to the son whom they've disowned. Suddenly, they cannot live without me and want to mend the fence, not because they miss me, not because they love me, but because they're desperate. I laughed, right there in their faces. I said, you cut me off because I refused to divorce a woman I loved, and now your finances fell apart. You came to me seeking help. My mom looked down like she was suddenly embarrassed. My dad still couldn't meet my eyes. Uncle tried to play peacemaker, saying, families should stick together in hard times. After all, they are your parents. They raised you. You are what you are because of them. I looked at him and said, family doesn't try to destroy your marriage. That's not family. You're wrong. I am what I am because of myself and because of my wife who works hard with me and supports me. There was complete silence. No acknowledgement. Then Uncle chipped in, well, good for you. So glad it turned out in your favor. Your parents were just looking out for you. Don't get them wrong. I calmed down and asked them, what do they want? Mom chimed, we want to be part of your life again. I asked, and what else? They both looked at each other with awkwardness. Dad wanted to say something, but Mom held his arms, smiled, and said, yes, we just want you. I asked again, are you sure? Because it doesn't make sense. I mean, you guys popped up when you are financially drowning, and you're saying you don't want anything except to be a part of our lives. Mom defended, we realized your worth. You always knew what you wanted in life. So sordid. We got you wrong. I said, okay, but I come with a package. I'm not alone. I have a wife and children. You apologize to me, but what about Merlin? You both wronged her big time. You owe her an apology. They both looked at me in disbelief as if I was being unreasonable. Mom got dramatic. You're being vindictive. How could you humiliate your parents this way? I was like, there's no disrespect in apologizing to someone you have wronged. She defended that they never said anything to Merlin directly, so apology is out of the question. She flinched. We tried to protect you, but did we ever say anything to her? I laughed and reminded them how they have spread lies about her past, about her intention, and how she has humiliated her by trying to set me up with other women. Dad intervened. What do you want? We beg your wife for forgiveness. If you want to make your parents so small in front of her, so be it. Call her and I'll do what you want. His sarcasm and attitude got on my nerves. They were both the same rigid people. They had zero remorse. I said, I don't want a forced apology. If you don't feel sorry, then whatever you say doesn't matter. And why did you come here? Mom screamed, we came here to give you another chance, but you're acting nuts. I lost my mind and yelled back at her. It led to a blowout and I asked them to leave. Dad demanded that I pay him back every penny he has spent on me, my education, my upbringing, even the presents that he bought for me. I was shocked at his demands. He said, pay me back and I'll leave you alone. I said a part of me wanted to sit and count every dime he had spent on me and then shove it to them. But then I calmed down. This is what they want. They want money, and that's why they were here. I said, okay, so you're here for money. If you're so keen about getting back your investment, you can sue me and my lawyer would get back to you. I was not going to fall into their emotional trap. Whatever they spent on me was their responsibility as parents. They can't claim it back. Did they take my permission before spending on me? No, right? So why should I pay for that? I was a good son. Tolerated their nonsense for years, but I had to set the boundaries to safeguard my wife and my children. My uncle stepped in, saying we were diverting the conversation in another direction. He also asked my parents to apologize to Merlin and begin a fresh relationship. They agreed to speak to Merlin and apologize, but then I changed my mind. What's the point? I said Merlin is better off without their fake sorries. My family and I are happy and fulfilled. I don't want them to jinx it, so better they leave. Uncle still tried to mediate and calm me down, saying my parents are getting old. It's better I reconcile now instead of shedding tears at their funeral. I said I don't plan to attend it either. I have no reason to. Uncle tried his last bet. Okay, if you don't want them around, fine. At least help them financially. They don't have money. Everything they have is gone. For humanity's sake, help them. Spare a few grand for them monthly. Should be okay for them. I coldly replied that I was in no mood for charity. They didn't say much after that. I said they're not welcome at my home and definitely not around my kids. Not now, not ever. They left. Uncle tried to linger, hoping I'd soften up. I didn't. And now, here I am, wondering how far people will go when the bottom falls out. How fast they switch up when they want something. Funny how money turns the same mouths that once cursed you into mouths begging you to save them. Let them sink. I'm not at their lifeboat. After they left, Merlin and I spoke for hours about this. She said if I wish, I can support them financially for a few months or give them some money so that they could sail for the time being. I said if I give in today, they'll come back to me again and again asking for more. So it's better I say no at first instance. They don't deserve kindness. They're still the same rigid and vicious people. I don't owe them anything. I know I'll get a lot of heat from some spineless pushover in this community who preaches submission, that I should support my parents no matter what they do to me. You know what? I don't care what people think about me. I'm proud of my decision and I'm standing by it. I need to protect my wife's dignity, my family's well-being over everything else. You're right to call out the hypocrisy, OP. It's not about family or love at this point. It's about them needing something from you. The fact that they still can't admit their wrongdoing towards your wife and have the audacity to demand financial help shows that they aren't learning a thing. Is there ever a moment when forgiveness isn't enough to move forward? Or does time heal all wounds? Let us know your thoughts below. And thank you for joining us today in the rLounge. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Until next time. And please put your chair back where you found it.